an hour and a half to cover our last segment,
Yeah.
which happens to cover the Pandora Papers.
Yeah. So, Pandora Papers is a journalistic compendium of financial documents and
And it really serves as like the sequel to the Panama Papers.
yeah, if you don't know what the Panama Papers were, the Panama Papers was a gigantic it was a gigantic investigative journaling endeavor where numerous financial documents and information about banking and secret funds and shell companies and all those different things were revealed to the public that many rich and powerful people across the globe were doing.
And really, like it was massive. I think it was like over 2.5 terabytes of data that was leaked.
Yeah, which is massive. And you had politicians, obviously, corporate owners, but you even had famous celebrities like Emma Watson named in the Panama Papers. It was that big. And so now with the Pandora Papers being the sequel, we're seeing not, I wouldn't say not necessarily the same level as the Panama Papers. It's not as massive, but still pretty big. With this one being firmly centered around foreign leaders. Mainly the big ones being King Abdullah II of Jordan, former Prime Minister of the UK, Tony Blair.
You also have people with connections to Vladimir Putin.
Oh, yes, Vladimir Putin's affair partner. You also have, some American CEOs. I know there was one that's a very big corporate donor to the DNC and another to the RNC. But I would say this is mainly a foreign. I would say you would say this. You would agree that this is mainly about foreign.
I mean, even the Panama Papers was mostly foreign, if I would recall.
Yeah. So this is also just to show that the corruption that we see in this country isn't just localized to America. It is a problem across the globe. Do you want to go a little bit more about like
Well,
the biggest things that came out of it?
well, before I think we should address like what exactly is happening, why these are like what is going on that is so morally reprehensible
Okay,
due
yeah,
to
I
our
think
limited time.
yeah,
But because the big thing is people shelling all their money off offshore, off to uh, low tax countries. Of course, the Panama Papers had to deal with people hiring a law firm over in Panama to keep all of their assets, and that's really what's going on here again. Is we're getting a whole bunch of looks into people's financial records and seeing what's really going on.
yeah. Um, I mean, this time it's I know one of the biggest areas that was shown this time was the British Virgin Islands, which is a territory.
Yeah,
So
because last time it was just Panama and the Cayman
yeah,
Islands.
this one is like British Virgin Islands, and it was several other. While you give a little bit more detail, I'll get a list of some of the countries that were implicated this time.
Yeah, the one that comes to mind that I brought up earlier was the one with Putin's alleged uh, affair partner. I
Yeah,
believe like she was given like several like I wouldn't even say houses. Would it be how?
properties.
I think at the very least properties that have been revealed because I mean this is he appeared in both papers at this point.
Yeah, actually, it was 2.9 terabytes for this one.
Really, so this one was bigger.
Yeah, this one's actually bigger, so I was wrong. It is bigger than the Panama paper by yeah, it's 2.6 terabytes. And oh my God, the amount of money, like the amount of money we're talking about is 5.6 trillion USD to 32 trillion. $32 trillion. That is an unfathomably high amount of money. And that's what we're talking across these documents. So much money that could be used to better people,
Because
especially the citizenry of all these countries.
because one of the biggest motivations, maybe not the biggest, but the biggest one of the biggest ones of all, is just avoiding taxes.
Yeah,
Like there are some uses like keeping business secrets and things of that nature, but really, like corporations are doing this to keep money out of paying to their domestic to where their corporations reside domestically,
yeah,
and that's money that is not put into the population and could be helping them out.
yeah. It's really crazy. I mean, I mean, it's just any rich and powerful person, really. Like, you have world leaders, you have religious figures, you have bankers, ministers, you even have a convicted murderer in Robert Durst being called out in this paper. It's like, it's a just corruption top to bottom. And it's not just the fact that it's just like, corrupt people like politicians. These people use this money and funnel them through terrorist organizations and organized crime organizations, meaning that the harm being done in hoarding this money is not just, oh, we're withholding money that we could use to the people. We're also helping and enabling people that commit crimes such as murder, kidnapping, trafficking, extortion. Just so many different crimes are you know, being allowed to go by because these rich people want to completely hide their wealth.
Yeah.
For what reason? I mean, you're so rich. You're so rich to the point where you probably can't spend all your money in your lifetime. Why must you hoard it even more? Like, what do you gain? Like, Abdullah II, you're the king of Jordan. You're a king. What more could you need? What more wealth could you need to hoard as one of the most powerful people in your country?
Yeah. And because of the nature of how new this story is, I'm sure we'll learn a lot more as the week develops, for sure.
Absolutely. The thing that definitely intrigues me the most about this is the ties to organized crime, more than anything, because it's known that many corrupt politicians, business people, bankers, religious affiliates, they all have their hands in organized crime. And to see that these people not only turn a blind eye to organized crime or only minorly profit from organized crime by virtue of organized crime being able to purport certain businesses that then they can invest in, but straight up just funneling money through the organized crime to hoard their own money, I think it's already reprehensible, but that just makes it even more reprehensible. These are the same people that will go around and talk about how they believe in law and order and that they believe in the greatness of their country and how all these different things, but then they'll turn around and they will help fund organizations and groups of people that not only seek to do harm to the people within their country, but their neighbors and the world over.
What saddens me the most is, like the Panama Papers, we're probably going to get zero consequences out of this whole thing.
Yeah, thankfully this time around we haven't been, at least to my knowledge, we haven't been given some type of chief author, which
Right, this
is,
was a collaboration between 600 different journalists. Like, I think because there were implications of the last one with the fact that the head author was car bombed.
yeah, the head author of the Panama Papers was car bombed in 2017. Mo, I mean, it was definitely because of her part in producing these papers. She was assassinated. Like, let's not mince words here. It was an assassination. She was killed because she exposed the rich and powerful for what they were, and they killed her for it. And so I really hope this time we don't see that happen.
Which, the fact that there's not a head author is probably a sign for the best, and uh, bless these authors for being brave and coming out, or the journalists for coming out with this information. But the sad part is we're probably not going to get anything about or get any consequences from this that would positively impact society.
Yeah.
But it is important that we know this information because it is important that we know about stuff like this because we us being kept in the dark only hurts us.
Yeah, this should serve. There's been numerous wake up calls throughout the past couple of years, but this should serve as another wake up call that the rich and powerful in this country really don't care about us. They don't care about us, the people, insofar as how much money we can make for them. And we need to fight back against that. We need to fight back against these these politicians, corporate owners, religious heads, all these different people. We need to fight against them. And no, I don't necessarily mean fight as in physically go out and fight them and beat them. No, you will die doing that. Please do not do that. But we need to strike more. We need to go on strike. We need to, like this labor shortage currently. We're going through a labor shortage here in the United States, And it's for good reason. The conditions that workers have in this country are abysmal. And we're finally seeing pushback. We're finally seeing the workers of the United States say, you know what? We don't need to tolerate this. We deserve better. And I think this should serve to really show that we need to be doing this everywhere. And I mean, we have been doing it everywhere. There are activists all across the country, especially within the third world, that have been championing efforts to really point this out. But we need to do this more. We need to support the strike efforts that are going on currently and other future strike efforts, and not just in our own countries, but abroad, as this is a global thing. Like, while we get pushed against each other all the time with different forms of culture war things, or different, like, oh, like we must fear North Korea, the Russians, whatever, the main thing we should be fearing are the powerful people of those countries. Your average citizen of America, Canada, Russia, China, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, Kenya, whatever, your average layperson in those countries is not your enemy. They are more alike to you than the rich and powerful of your own country. And we need to, as a collective, be able to really fight back against this corruption. We need to hold these people to task. And obviously, these people are probably not going to be shown any type of legal consequence whatsoever. But just the fact that we're exposing them, and by we, I mean people that are not them, that are exposing them to the world, I think is a good step forward and something that we should encourage even more. I mean, we saw what happened with the Facebook whistleblower that happened earlier this week, where she completely blew the lid about how Facebook uses its algorithm to radicalize people with fake information to the point where world leaders are fixing their policy positions to match the propaganda that is being pushed by Facebook. We're literally seeing rich and powerful people like Mark Zuckerberg drive political discourse across the world for profit, and it's not for the benefit of people. I mean, there's a massacre going on in what is Malaysia, I believe.
I'm actually not aware of that.
I believe it's a massacre of the Muslim population by a primarily Buddhist population in Malaysia, and that's being coordinated by Facebook. It's being coordinated across Facebook. Why? Why are why is someone like Mark Zuckerberg allowed to let that slide on his platform? Why is he allowed to get billions upon billions of dollars for helping basically platforming like genocide apologia? Why is he allowed to do that? And in the same vein, why are we allowing world leaders and former world leaders to profit and hide their profits from the people that they either serve or once served? Because those profits might as well be going to the deaths of people around the world, because they ain't going to help us. That's for damn sure.
Well, at that point, that leaves us over the hour 25-minute mark, which definitely a good sign for the future that we went over our estimated time.
Oh, for sure. I definitely can see us talking, especially with other topics. I think we can go for much longer, but this was just a pilot episode, and we hope to do this for a lot longer. This
I,
was really fun.
yeah, I know one segment we've got planned for next week is our thoughts and opinions on Venom: Let There Be Carnage, which we'll be giving our initial thoughts and probably a retrospective on the original Venom movie with next week's showing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I mean, I feel like we could probably talk more about Facebook next week, but we also need to see what the
Because
news cycle brings us, because there's a big thing happening every day, pretty much.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Facebook thing broke. I mean, Facebook went down yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before?
I believe it was the day.
I think it was the day
It
before.
was the day before, I remember, because I was stuck at the DMV. Not the DMV, the dealership.
Yeah, and that was the same day that the whistle. Was it the same day actually?
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
same day. The same day. The Panama Papers dropped, Facebook went down, and the whistleblower, her full 60 minutes interview had finally gone worldwide trending.
Yeah.
All happened on the same day. And on one hand, that is phenomenal. That is the perfect storm of really showing you that the rich and powerful in this country, and not just this country, the world, are corrupt, and they are literally playing with the lives of people. But it's also a showing of just God, just how messed up things are.
Well, looks like I lied. Looks like we're doing 2 segments planned for next week.
I mean, obviously, we're going to have more than two next week. These are just the main two that we know we're going to do.
I mean, we did 4 today, so of
Yeah.
course. And we only expected that to last an hour.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be doing this weekly. We'll be doing this 7 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. Pacific. So definitely catch us every Wednesday.
Yep. Today's the 6th. I know that some people are rumoring that a Pokemon trailer for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl comes out on Friday. So if it does, you'll definitely catch us here giving our thoughts about that.
Definitely, definitely.
We could probably also talk about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
That would be fun, especially after our discussion of Smash.
Yeah, I mean, this is purported the certified Smash killer. Will it go the route of Temtem, which was supposed to be the Pokemon killer? Who knows? But we definitely have a lot to talk about next week, so I hope you guys tune back in.
Yeah, definitely.
This is Shiny,
And Sovereign.
and this is Worldwide Wednesday, and I hope you guys have a great evening.
All right. See you guys later.